Hey, what's up everyone? It's James here from Sen Pioneer and Just Understanding Data. And today what we're going to be looking at is how you can easily resize single and multiple images in Python. We're also going to then compress them at the same time to help you do image processing at scale using Python. First thing that we're going to do is import our Python packages such as pill, OS and glob. Resizing an image is relatively easy inside of Pillow. I'm going to show you two methods. The first one, which is slightly more complex, and the second one, which is really easy. I think it's really good that you get an understanding as to like the complex one, so you really grasp how the image is being resized. So let's do that first, and then we can show you the quick cheat after. So we're going to set a base width that we'd like our image to be at 360. We're going to do image, and then we're going to do image.open. So we're going to open our image, and in this case I have already prepared an image. If you haven't got one already prepared, you can download one from a website like Pexels or Unsplash, which allow you to download images for free, which are royalty or copyright free. So I'm going to open the image called image example image.jpg. In my case, it might be something different in yours depending upon what you've done. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set a width percentage. So do width percent, and then we're going to say the base width divide by float image.size, and then we're going to index by 0. And then, so essentially what's happening, I'll explain this after I've written all the code. The next thing that we need is a h size, and we'll do int, and we'll do a float of image dot size 1 times float of width percent. After we've got all of these parameters, we can then specifically resize the image and save it. So we'll do image is equal to image.resize, and here is where we add a tuple object and we add the base width, which we originally wanted, and the h size. Then we're also going to set pill.image like this, and then we're going to do our anti-alias. After we've resized the image, we can then save the image. So we can do image.save. This is a smaller image.jpg. If you now look in your Finder, you'll see, for example, that you've got a new file that's been created, which is significantly smaller than the image that we started with. Let's go through the code and understand this line by line. The first thing that we're doing is we're setting a base width of 360 pixels. We're then opening the image. Now here's where it starts to get interesting. We are taking the base width and we're dividing that by the original width of the image, which gives us kind of like a ratio. Once we have that ratio, we can take the existing height that the image is currently at, which is .size 1, and then we'll times it by that width percentage so that we maintain the same aspect ratio. We then put these numbers in and we image resize with the base width being the width and the h size being the height. We then apply this, which just allows for better quality, and then we save the image with a specific name. It's also possible for us to do the exact opposite and specify a base height that we would like the image to be, and then to shrink the image based upon that specific base height that we would actually like to have, whilst maintaining the aspect ratio. Now that I've shown you the actual raw way that you can do that, let's just use an inbuilt Python function inside of the Pillow library that easily allows us to create a thumbnail. All we have to do to create a thumbnail is basically open the image and then do .thumbnail, specify a size, and that is a tuple object where we pass in a desired width and height. It will maintain the aspect ratio for us and will generally shrink it to whatever size width you put. So let's try that now. So we can call and create a new variable called picture, and we can do image.open, and we're going to do example image. So if we'd like to get the size, just remember you can do picture.size, and that gives you the width and the height. Now we're going to create a thumbnail, and we can do that just by doing picture.thumbnail, and then what you do is you do size and you specify a tuple object, and you can say I want a thumbnail that is 200 width by 200 height. And then if we now look at the size again, we have now got a 200 width pixel with 133 pixel height, which maintains the aspect ratio. You can easily resize multiple images in your current working directory by doing these kinds of commands. So for example, by doing os list dirt, that gives us all the files. And previously what we did was we did for file in files, this is the list comprehension, and we can say if example string in file, that gives us these two example images. And we could also do and file.ends with, and we pass in a tuple object with JPEG and PNG. And then we can save this as a variable called images. Now, what we can do is we can do for image in images, let's print the image. Now we're going to open every image like we did before. So we do img image.open, and then we do image. And that allows us now to open every image. After we've opened every image, we're then going to use the thumbnail command. So image thumbnail, and then we're going to do size is equal to 200 by 200. If we now print the size of these images, image.size, you can see we have now got these very nice resized images. The final thing that we're going to do is, rather than just open these images and resize them, we're also going to compress them and save them as a new file name at the same time. We can just pick up where we left off, and what we're going to do is open the image, and then we're going to make it into a 200 width at least thumbnail, and then we're going to do image.save, and then we're going to say compressed, and we're going to say plus image, and then we're going to do optimize equals true and quality equals 30. And now if you have a look inside of your Finder, you can see we've got some incredibly small images by resizing and compressing them. Hopefully you can now see how easy it is to both resize and compress your images using Python. In the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at how you can utilize next generation formats like WebP to further reduce the size of your images and to improve your web applications and websites. If you really enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a like and drop a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.